What top secret encounters is the US hiding? Myth or proof? Tonight, we test the claims, the denials, and one leaked image. You'll hear what pilots swore under oath, what officials pushed back on, and why one frame still sparks debate. If you've followed the headlines, this is the clean, no-nonsense decode. Our story starts in a packed hearing room in 2023. Commercial and military aviators described craft with no visible engines and impossible acceleration. They warned that near misses in restricted airspace are a real flight safety issue. One intelligence veteran alleged secret programs and retrievals and said he was willing to testify behind closed doors. Those statements raised expectations and blood pressure in equal measure. Officials answered with caution. The Pentagon's UAP office said it had found no proof of alien technology. Reports emphasized that extraordinary claims demand standardized data, not viral clips. That tension, eyewitness urgency versus institutional caution, frames everything that follows. Let's rewind to the most famous videos. In 2020, the Department of Defense publicly released 3 Navy clips long circulated online. They're known as the Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos. Each shows a target tracked on advanced sensors, while crew voices react in real time. What those clips prove is limited, but what they represent is significant. They confirm the government documents and releases the encounters as genuine unknowns. They do not identify what those objects are. So, what do we actually see? Thermal imagery locking onto a target with no obvious wings or exhaust plume. ATFLIR and other systems tracking something crossing wind with unusual stability. Sensor autogain and parallax can trick the eye, but trained crews were puzzled. That mix of real data, unclear meaning is why the debate refuses to die. In parallel, a separate civilian panel urged a science-first approach. Recommendations included better collection, public transparency where possible, and a named point person. Translation: if you want answers, you need clean metadata and repeatable methods. Now to the moment you came for, the so-called metallic orb. During briefings in 2023, officials showed a short clip captured by a military drone. A small spherical object passes through frame and keeps going. No wings, no tail, just an orb crossing a city at speed. At the time, analysts labeled it unresolved. Unresolved does not mean otherworldly, but it also does not mean explained. And then came the still that ignited comment sections, the image nicknamed the Mosul Orb. Journalists published a single frame reportedly taken during a 2016 mission. It shows a dark sphere suspended over terrain with no obvious motion blur. There is no range, no size, and no corroborating sensor data in public. Authenticity has not been confirmed by the Department of Defense. So what can we conclude from one picture? Almost nothing beyond there is a sphere-looking thing in this frame. That humility matters if we want the truth, not just a thrill. So why are whistleblowers still coming forward? Some allege legacy programs shield non-human technology. Others emphasize the operational risk of unknowns inside military airspace. Both threads deserve scrutiny, but they are not equally evidenced in public. Right now, pilot safety incidents are documented. Crash retrieval claims are not. Quick question for you. Which source do you trust more right now? Pilots in the sky or officials guarding the reports? Tell us below and persuade someone with evidence, not volume. Back to the record. After reviewing decades of accounts, the Pentagon's office released a historical survey in 2024. Its bottom line was blunt: no verified proof of off-world materials or reverse engineering programs. That conclusion angered believers, but it laid down a measurable claim. If contrary evidence exists, it must surface with documentation, chain of custody, and peer review. Skeptics argue most cases fall to the usual suspects: balloons at strange altitudes, birds and insects blooming as bokeh on infrared optics, glare, sensor artifacts, and parallax making slow targets appear fast or rotating. Investigators have closed many incidents with exactly those causes. The pattern is mundane but real. Believers counter with their strongest cards: multiple sensors tracking the same target at once, experienced observers who know their equipment and still can't square what they saw, objects maneuvering where they should not be, and no airframe identified afterward. Even if 90 cases resolve, 10 stubborn ones can fuel a mystery for years. Here is the fair read based on public facts. We have genuine unknowns inside restricted airspace that deserve disciplined study. We also have a long history of misidentification amplified by excitement and incomplete data. Those truths coexist, and acknowledging both keeps us honest. Let's examine what would actually settle this. You would need simultaneous radar, electro-optical, infrared, and passive RF on the same object. You would need calibrated timing, exact positions, and environmental conditions. You would need controlled release of raw files so independent teams can replicate the analysis. Without that, every viral clip is an argument, not a conclusion. So what doesn't the US want you to see? Most likely the raw sensor data and collection methods that reveal capabilities to adversaries. Classified does not automatically mean extraterrestrial. It often just means we can't show how we see. That secrecy fuels speculation, but it also protects tactics, sources, and platforms. Where does that leave the leaked image we showed? As a conversation starter, not a smoking gun. Until we know the lens, the distance, the frame rate, and the mission details, it remains an intriguing unknown. Could it be a balloon, a bird, a stray piece of debris? Yes. Could it be something truly novel? Also, yes, but claims require commensurate proof. There is one outcome nearly everyone agrees on. We need better reporting pipelines so aviators can file UAP encounters without stigma. We need standardized formats so one unit's video can be compared to another's radar. We need to publish what can be published and admit what remains unsolved. Transparency builds trust even when answers are incomplete. Zooming out, the cultural story matters too. For decades, the topic lived on the fringe. In the last few years, it moved into mainstream hearings and official reports. That shift alone is historic, regardless of where the evidence ultimately lands. Curiosity is no longer conspiracy by default. So, myth or proof? Right now, we have neither a confirmed alien craft nor a clean slate of explanations. We have a growing archive, a few famous clips, a handful of leaks, and hard questions. We have pilots asking for safety and scientists asking for rigor. We have the public asking to see what they paid for. Here is my challenge to you as we close. Choose one claim from tonight and chase the primary sources. Read the hearing transcripts, compare the office conclusions, look at the technical limitations of the sensors used. If we build a community that values evidence over headlines, answers will come faster. You've heard the allegations and the counter-evidence. You've seen the famous videos and the limitations that clip reactions hide. You've looked at a leaked still and learned what it can't tell us. Now tell us the one question you wish Congress would ask next. Subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next release of data, testimony, or surprises. We'll keep digging, we'll keep fact-checking, and we'll show you exactly what holds up. Until then, eyes on the sky and minds on the evidence.